Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. This is gonna be awesome. I am so excited to hang out with you guys tonight. But if you're watching this point in the video, which is the very beginning, it's probably because you're not on the live. It's probably because you're watching the replay. And I would just cordially invite you to make sure you're subscribed, select all. That way you get the notifications if YouTube's doing what it's supposed to do, but that sometimes doesn't happen. So I hope you get to join us live if you haven't done so already. To those of you who are live with us, welcome. And Old Radios is in the house. Welcome in. Welcome in. I'm getting hearts from somebody. I didn't know you could do that, but that's cool. Caleb, welcome in, my man. So glad to have you here. Welcome to everybody. You will see that my background is starting to fill out with some of these tin signs. I got this one yesterday. The day before that, I think I got this one. So I've got a couple more. I think I ordered 6. So I got 4 here. I need one up here. We'll kind of see how this works, but that's the idea. And like I said before, it's kind of funny. I live in Zoom calls all day long in my other world of actually working here and not just having so much fun. But and so sometimes these will come through even with the background filter on. So I didn't realize, especially this one, the round one, the AI thinks it's a head. So anyway, these are cool signs anyway. I just wanted a backdrop, something to kind of liven it up. Old Radios, yeah, I got new records and tape decks. Tell me all about it, man. You must have quite a collection. You must have quite the collection because you're always telling me about these cool things you're getting, and I'm really excited to hear about it. I had a viewer that was in one of our lives recently mentioned something about a Soviet or a USSR or Russian, I'm not sure, tape deck, and that he had from back in the 80s. And he sent me some pictures of it. It was really interesting, really, really interesting. And it always surprises me that the standards on audio equipment and stuff exists in all places around the globe. Like, I don't know why that's interesting to me, but to see a record that's in a foreign language that's still, pressed at the same speed as one in the United States, or equipment that's designed to play based on the same standards and stuff, that's cool. Old Radio's got a Fisher CR5120, a Pioneer Radio 8-track deck. That's awesome. Gary, welcome in, my friend. A little bit earlier than usual, right, Gary? You might actually get some sleep tonight. Gary, by the way, thanks again for the tip on the import stuff. We were trying to figure out a way to get these adapters available domestic or not just domestically, but internationally as well. Whoever's sending the hearts, that's awesome. I don't know how that works, but it's really cool. Oh, man. So here we are. What is it? Wednesday, the 19th of April. And summer is knocking on the door, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere. And I was talking to a friend of mine in the Southern Hemisphere, and he's like, yeah, and so we're getting ready for winter. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess you are. That's kind of weird, it's kind of interesting. But yeah, it's really interesting to learn about people and their, what they're up to around the world. And I already know we got a group from around the world in this audience here. So if you haven't done it yet, thumbs up would really help. Really appreciate that. Most importantly though, comment. Let me know what you are up to. Michelle, welcome in. Glad to have you back. Always curious your questions, your comments, your tips, your tricks. And I, as well, will try to, share some kind of behind the scenes of what's going on. We are working on trying to do more record player reviews specifically. Currently, at this moment, in our possession, we do have at least one record player that is new in the box, has not been reviewed, and will probably be the next show, as well as some other new equipment. And on the way, we've got a host of things to share with you that I'm very excited to do so. So yeah, that'll all be forthcoming. I'm going to fix this camera. It feels like it's a little high. There, that's better. I had to change. Okay, some behind the scenes stuff you didn't want to know. This desk, because if you remember, if you've been following through our move, the desk that I had back in Colorado had been through like 3 moves over the course of 20 years. and it was a glass top desk, and it was kind of on its last leg, so to speak, no pun intended. And it just needed to go. So it wasn't even like, don't even donate it to somebody, just throw it away. So that was all with the idea that I would be buying a new desk here. And my wife's desk was in better condition, so we actually donated hers, and she got a new one when we moved as well. Well, the desk that I chose has a riser on the back, and it's really great because it frees up your desk space so that you can have, in my case, more doodads and things. In my wife's case, more space for productivity. But I really like the fact that it holds up the speakers, it holds up my computer, other screens and things I've got going on. But the problem is my monitor. I've got like a 27-inch Samsung monitor, and putting it up on that riser was just too high up. If you notice the first few shows that we've done in lives and things, the camera position just seemed to be really high. And I thought it looked okay from like your perspective of looking, but it meant that my head was like this. And so what happened is I threw my back out big time. And it started kind of mid last week, about this time last week, and just went crazy by the weekend to the point where I could barely move. The back pain so intense that you can barely breathe. Every position is painful. Even laying down in bed is painful. So a little, CSI working it, I realized it's because of that riser. The monitor had to come down. So that's why I had to adjust the camera. So what I had to do is take a section out, cut a piece out, which I was kind of a bummer because it has this really cool LED light strip that goes under it. It looked really cool. So there's this now 27-inch section in the middle. It's still, the riser's still on the other sides, but I had to take it out. The good news is I can actually, sleep at night now, and I don't have, horrible pain from my neck just being like working like this. You know what I mean? And I had some escalations and things on Friday. Just when you think you're done with work, and then all of a sudden you've got a 6-hour project hit you at 3 p.m. I had that happen, and so it was tense. It was stressful, and I was tired already. I think that was the finishing touch that polished me off, and I really ended up with a bad situation. So that's why I adjusted the camera. 1977 DXC 1610 video camera. Okay, I gotta look this up. Old radio's got this. What the heck? I don't know all model numbers, like most model numbers. So when I do recognize one, it's like, wow, I recognize. Jay says, I'm curious how old you are. Let me answer that in a way that isn't an answer. How old am I? Nobody in my high school had smartphones, but they did have pagers. Actually, in junior high, they had pagers going into high school. I grew up Saturday morning cartoons. Not book on record so much as book on tape. Etch-a-Sketch, things like that. That's kind of my era. Never was into He-Man and things like that, but was the era of the Care Bears and G.I. Joe and all that good stuff. Garfield and Friends on TV. Some hints there. Just watching this and going to listen to some too. Caleb, that's awesome. That's the kind of show that I like to sometimes just put it on the background. You don't even need to watch. In fact, based on my looks, it's probably best that you don't watch. So if you just want to listen, that's doing the Lord's work right there. Old Radio says, found a record I've been wanting for a while. Peggy Lee. Is that all there is? I just got that record. Hold on a second. I'm going to see if I can find it. Talk amongst yourselves. I think I just got that. Now, where's my Peggy Lee records? Hold on a second. Don't go anywhere. Are they right here? I need to reorganize some of these records. Where are they? Hold on a second. I'll be right back. Yes, I found it. Why, hello there. Is this the one you got? So this is an interesting record. I haven't listened to the whole record yet, but I know that the song "Is That All There Is" one of my absolute favorite Peggy Lee songs. So that's really, really cool. And this was given to me by a friend, a benefactor, who has access to a major collection, and they're skimming some of my favorite records off the collection and selling some of most of the collection, but they're just sending me my favorites, which is like, I'm so thankful. But this record, I was glad to get out of that collection because that is a great song. Now, this is a later album. I think this is like 69 or 70. Let's see. Let's do a look up. This is what I use Discogs for, by the way. I need to try buying a record on Discogs. Make sure the S is not a C. Otherwise, you'll go to a website you don't want to go to. Actually, it was a 404. But let's see. What is going on here? Okay, I'm typing in something wrong. Hold on. There we go. Discogs. Okay, this is Capitol. I think she was on Capitol her whole post-Benny Goodman career. 8, 6. It's a stereo edition. Anyway, the song is great. Okay, that's, what is that, the CD or something? Because I know it wasn't released in 2012. '69. Okay, that was a good guess. So yeah, it's a great, great song, and it's a story song. It's really good, and what's really neat about it is the story of how she came to sing it. Apparently, if I remember right, the songwriter, she found out about this song, and she contacted the songwriter, if I remember the story right, and literally threatened in a humorous way that I'm not going to repeat, this person that they better let her record it. That's a great record. What else is on here? I think there's a redo of I'm a Woman on here. Yeah. I don't know if that's a re-recording. The original's great. Something. I love the song Something. I haven't heard her version. Again, I haven't heard this particular record, but I know that any version of Something I've heard of the Beatles, Elvis, is just a great song. Don't Smoke in Bed. Wasn't that one of her early ones? There must be a couple redos on here. That's cool. Good find. I share similar interest, but you appear younger than myself, which is interesting. I'm 56 now. Yeah, I'm younger than that, but it doesn't surprise me because I've been an old soul my whole life. And what I mean is that I've just always been into things that is kind of not my generation. I was listening to Lena Horne in high school instead of Megadeth and Metallica. Although I did go through a phase. Yes, Record-ology went through a metal phase. And you'd be like, what? You don't even have hardly any kind of rock or metal section now. True, but I did go through a phase where I was listening to a lot of metal. Man, this calic action is really bad. The hair, I am getting a haircut this week and it needs to happen. What is this? I just chopped that off. Why is that so long? I got calics all over the place. Movie Spud says, good evening, nice and windy in Missouri today, or Missouri, I should say. We'll drop to the 50s this weekend. Added a new Victrola 4-in-1 to my bedroom. Had bought 2 awful ones off Amazon that had to take back. Well, I hope you have good luck with this thing. We have the 6-in-1 in our bedroom, and it's just nice to have music in the background. I love the way the dial on those lights up. And I think the 4-in-1 is you're talking of is it the same series of that, kind of the mid-century modern kind of deal. Welcome in, everybody. If I haven't said it to you yet, please hit the thumbs up and let me know what questions or comments you have in chat. And if you're watching the replay, in the comments. Ty Rocky says, I've got a Victrola Navigator about a month ago. It plays CDs, cassette tapes, and vinyl records. It can even transmit and receive Bluetooth. play USB drives, and has an FM radio. Okay, I gotta look at what they're called. They changed the name on this stuff. What is this? Okay, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. That used to be called just the Victrola 6-in-1, and they actually released it before they branded as Victrola. Innovative Technology was the parent company, and you used to be able to get that model that said Innovative Technology. That was the first record player we reviewed, the 6-in-1 version. The 6-in-1 version. And this was back in 2017. And it was in the summertime. We started the channel in April. By the way, if we didn't already hit it, I think yesterday might have been our 6-year anniversary. It's crazy. 6 years of doing this has been amazing. Has it been 6 years? 17. Yeah, I think so. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Yeah, 6 years. Anyway, we have 47 subscribers, and the ad agency for Victrola was like very nice at the time and happy to work with us. And actually, the agency was great the whole time. They ended up going with a different agency, and then by the end of it, we were working with them directly, and had some great products to review over the years. And I don't know if we'll ever review Victrola again via a product sample, via something that we just pick up, and we've done it before. We bought a few products for the purpose of reviewing, and that may happen again as well. I like to stay though on the forefront, and that's what's a good thing about working with companies is it's easy as a creator to just put down the law and say, look, I don't care if you send me a free product sample or if I pay for it. The review is going to be honest. And sometimes those product samples result in negative reviews because they're just honest reviews, regardless of source, like it says in my About tab. And most companies are usually very gracious about it. Thank you. You've helped us isolate. In fact, Victrola had come back to me before and was very thankful for, identifying things and, because it's really a service to them either way. Either they're learning things to improve on or learning things are good. And, obviously gives people a chance to see their products. But what I really liked about working directly with a company versus just buying it off the shelf is the fact that you get wind of things coming down the pike. You get to know what's new, what's exciting. And sometimes that can result in some fantastic products. Case in point, I've been using that phrase a lot lately, would be the Audio-Technica 60th anniversary stuff that has come out. The 5 new products, including the AT 2020 acrylic turntables, like a $1,400 turntable, absolutely gorgeous. And the Soundburger, and they have new headphones, and they have like a new cartridge where the entire this is what blew me away. This fancy expensive cartridge. Not only is the stylus diamond and the entirety of the stylus, the shank. So it's not just nude, which means that the whole shank and the tip is diamond, but the cantilever is diamond too. The whole cantilever, shank, and stylus is all one piece, all one solid diamond piece. And it's inexpensive. It's a lot of diamond material, right? So it's going to be expensive. But to be in on the kind of on the ground floor of that kind of stuff is exciting. To know what's coming out and to be able to kind of share that. It's more exciting than, to be the last person to review something. We were so many times over the first people on YouTube to review so many products. Not only are we the vinyl channel that gives away the most, in my opinion, I think that's easy to back that up because we give away tons of whatever the YouTube channels give away record players and so many records and things, which I'm proud of, and we'll continue to do that. That's a really important thing about what we do. But it was always fun to be a part of the ground floor. That's all I'm saying. Good news is we've got a lot of things we're partnering with some new folks on and some of our old friends as well to bring you some amazing stuff. And I'm really, really excited to share it. So it's a good time to be here at Record-ology because even 6 years in, we've got new and amazing things coming your way that I can't wait to share. Oh, it's going to be good. Especially one, I'm going to give you a little hint. You won't figure it out based off of this, but there is a company that makes a product and they are not in the North American region of the earth. And it is a product that is very cool and unique, and I can't wait to share it with you. And if all goes according to plan, we should be sharing that with you shortly. And again, like I said, I do have a turntable system. It's a not an all-in-one system, I don't think. I try not to look too closely at the products before I unbox them on air because I want to have that experience it all together kind of a thing. But it's a record player system with speakers, and it'll be cool. So anyway, yeah. Also, I'm going to mention this a couple of times, but I've got great news for you. My wife has updated her YouTube channel, and it is public, and you can go over there and subscribe. It's called Rain's Place. If you go to @Rain's Place, and I'll go ahead and put a link in the deal here so you can click to it. But if you would go over there and subscribe, that would be awesome. And basically what it is they are videos of wildlife and nature, and also there'll be some blog content on there, I believe, covering different things, adventures, wildlife, sporting things, all kinds of, who knows, the ocean, surfing, who knows, all kinds of fun stuff, adventures of Florida that she is sharing, and she's off to a great start. It's got a bunch of videos up there already. Let me see if I can just put the link in the chat here. So if you guys will go over there, get in on the ground floor, that would be awesome. Yeah, let's go ahead and just put the link. We'll make this as easy as possible. It's hard to do this when I'm on YouTube, trying to find something on YouTube. Can I go on YouTube when I'm on YouTube? Yes, I can. But yeah, it's super cool content. You guys are going to love it. So, okay, here we go. What we're going to do is copy this, and we are putting it in the chat. Yes, so please go over there, check that out. Support that channel. Would really appreciate it. Just hitting subscribe, just being there. Okay, back into the comments. Thank you for your patience. It's interesting that they've updated that navigator, by the way, to do the transmit Bluetooth function. That didn't do that. The one I had didn't do it. Got records from Amy Stewart, Art of Noise, GQ Limited, The Impressions, Curtis Blow, Harry Nilsson. I know Harry Nilsson. That's great. Enoch Light. That's good stuff. And some Wyndham Hill. Awesome. That's cool. The Puppy song by Harry Nilsson. I love that song. Remember that movie? It was the movie that You've Got Mail. Well, it was You've Got Mail that had that song in it. That's where I discovered that song with Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks, which was a remake of an old Jimmy Stewart movie. I think it was a Jane Sullivan. Was it Jane? Anyway, it had Jimmy Stewart in it, called The Shop Around the Corner. Oh, my audio is breaking up. Let me get closer to the mic, guys. Sorry about that. Hopefully it's clear now. Okay, I'm getting hearts, so I guess that means I'm clear now. Come on, what is going on here? All right, I am so behind on comments. I apologize. Movie Spud says, I moved a couple of my record players and now have room to add at least one more. That's awesome. Michelle says, I got a new record player. It's a steeple tone with speakers. Got 4 record players now. Must get rid of some before I get my dream turntable, which of course leads to the question, what is your dream turntable? Steeple tone. I got to look this up. Steeple tone. Oh, okay. Cool. Got you. That's really cool. That's really neat. I think I'd heard of those guys before. That's really neat. Sorry about the audio, guys. And I'm sorry I'm behind on comments, so I didn't get to see it until just now. That makes you circa 1985. A little older than that. 1 decade back. Jack, what's your most listened to genre of music? I listen to all types of music. I listen to a little bit of everything. My favorite genres are big band music, vintage, 30s, 40s music, movie soundtracks. I listen to a lot. I listen to opera a lot. I listen to classical a lot. I listen to rap. My son and I enjoy a lot of Christian hip hop and non-Christian hip hop music, which may surprise folks as well. Um, Patsy Cline, a lot of vintage country, Hank Williams stuff, Peggy Lee, and Glenn Miller is another favorite of mine. Those are some of my favorites. But this afternoon, I was having kind of an 80s kick, and I was just playing a bunch of 80s hits and things. It was really interesting. Old Radio's got an RCA shoebox tape recorder from 1970. The thing came with a backstory. The guy who got the recorder apparently modified it to catch his wife cheating. Uh-oh. I was actually thinking about doing that to catch my bird cheeping, because I have this thought that I've got this discussion. My wife and I have talked. Does he cheep only when we're around? Does a tree fall in the forest? Does it make a sound, kind of a deal? Does the bird cheep when we leave the house? So I was thinking about taking a shoebox recorder and leave it out. Oh, to record phone calls. I have a modified. I think at one point I came across the thing that it was like an 1/8 inch on one side, and then it would like suction cup onto a handset. I never tried it out though. But I was like, this would be kind of interesting to record off of a speaker or something. I don't know why you would do that, but Michelle says, I've been record shopping this week at a local shop. They sell secondhand and new records. That's great. That's always fun to do. I found a new thrift store, and I didn't film in there. I just went to check it out undercover, and they had a trove of records, tapes, and especially CDs. So I may go back when I have some more time and see if I can find some stuff. I'm replacing the belts on the Fisher tape deck. That's cool. Old radios, I paid $30 for the 2003 Power Mac. Wow. Isn't it amazing the depreciation on computers? Larry's in the house. Welcome in, sir. And thank you for moderating. And thank you. Larry's got the R badge because he is a member of the Record-ology Inner Circle, which is our membership program. You are cordially invited to join that as well. So you've got some homework to do. Number one is to go over to my wife's channel, Rain's Place. And I put the link in here. Did it go through? Yes. I put the link in the comments. Scroll back a little bit and you'll see that. And subscribe there. And then the second piece of homework is to join the Record-ology Inner Circle, support the channel. It would be very much appreciated. It's only 99 cents a month. It's you know what I mean? And I hope to be able to provide more at different tier levels where you'll get some additional content maybe or something at another tier. We'll see how that works. But right now you can show off your badge, and then also you get exclusive stickers that you can use in the comments and things like that. Yeah, Old Radios, you told me you had like thousands of 45s, didn't you? Sheesh. Rice cooker. Darn, I'm late. Oh, you're not that late, actually. We just started a little while ago. Family friend dropped some old 78s, found some Pathé records, some old one-sided 12-inch. That's cool. I've seen a few 1-inch, I've seen a few 12-inch I've seen a lot of 12-inch records like 78s, and I've seen a lot of one-sided 10-inch 78s, but I don't think I've ever seen one-sided 12-inch 78s. That's interesting. I was listening to Cab Calloway in high school and college, so I'm an old soul too. That's awesome. Cab Calloway is great. Yes. Mid-century Metropolitan. That's awesome. Pathés, as in the Sapphire Ball records. Yeah, there's a special needle for those. I have one. I have one of the records. Rice cooker. Got an old Lundstrom Converto from 104 years back. Still works. It's another family member's home. Lundstrom. Interesting. Don't you love equipment that you store at somebody else's house? I've got a 1951 Philco back in my parents' house in Colorado, and it's interesting. Parents are threatening to send it to us or have us have it, and my wife's threatening that if the record player comes in the house, that would not be advisable. So I am choosing life, and I'm holding off on the record player. It's cool. It's like a 1950 or 1951, and it was my grandma on my mom's side's wedding present. And it's a Philco, and it's got a 78 RPM record player. The needle's non-existent. It would need some work. It hasn't played music in at least 30 years. It's got an AM/FM tube radio that does work. It's got a nice double door finish, wood. It's a beautiful unit. Right now, it's holding up a projector in my dad's home theater, and for that, it does a great job. But yeah, it's always good to have stuff somebody else gets to store it for you. That's going to come to an end. I'm going to have to let it go. It is cool though, but I don't need to have it. Steepletone Camden. Interesting. Plastic platter that wobbles. Yeah. Isn't that annoying? I remember that with one of my first newer record players is like, oh, is that supposed to wobble? Yeah. Brian, thank you so much. Congrats on your move to Florida. Thank you. It's weird. It's like still kind of wake up. It's like, we still here? And it's kind of strange because at moments it feels like a vacation. And at other moments you're like, no, this is definitely, you're in the doctor's office or something. You're like, no, this is definitely not vacation anymore. But then again, you look and you see palm trees every day. And it's like, but it's really awesome. It's great. It's been an experience. It's been fun. Larry says Victrola's Revolution Go is a great sounding portable record player. It is. Larry, do you have one of those? I don't remember if you have one of those or not. It's fantastic. Gary's got 150 78s and 150 LPs with it. Oh, that you said you got a collection? That's awesome, dude. Larry, how long were you considering the move to Florida and why? We've been considering it for 10 years. And it's been something that over the last few years has become a serious thing. And it was a matter of when to pull the trigger on the idea because our kids were really connected to events and people and, kind of social things in Colorado, especially our son. And he chose to stay there, by the way, for now. So figuring out when we almost did it last year and we decided to wait and give it a little bit more time and for things to stabilize for everything. But eventually both kids are moved out doing great on their own. And it was kind of my wife and I's chance to do what we wanted to do. And this has been a dream of ours for a long time. And it's like, and it's what you ever notice in life, how big decisions never seem perfect in terms of cut and dry. Like, yes, it's very clear I should do this. And there's no gotchas. There's no problems. There's no red flags or whatever. There's always, it's never, at least in our experience, it seems like when life gives you the opportunity to make big change, it also gives you some trade-off. Like, well, this is good and this is not so good. And you kind of weigh the two. It's more good than bad. There's definitely downsides and upsides to both scenarios. And just kind of weighing that out, we thought to ourselves, well, this is something we wanted to do. And try it. This is a time when it works in terms of the family. It works in terms of us. It works in terms of everything that we're involved in has the flexibility to allow this to happen. So, and you guys, I don't think you mind that I'm in Florida now versus Colorado before. At least I hope not. At least it gives us some new record player shops to check out and some new opportunities for content. So just wait for it. May not be forever and may go back, and that's fine, or may go on to do something else. But it was like, just go for it. But my wife and I are both very, very passionate about wildlife, about nature, about, the activities, the kind of active lifestyle that they have here. And it was a really good fit. We love water sports. We love all that kind of stuff, which again is a great tie into her channel, Rain's Place. And I'll put it in the comments in the thread here. Go check it out. Subscribe, because it's going to cover that kind of stuff. That will give you an insight as to why we did it, because it's going to really focus on the things that we love to do. Now, it is completely her channel. However, she has invited me to participate maybe in some blogs in the future. So you might see old Record-ology rearing his ugly head in the background. So we'll see. Gary said, oh, yeah, got that one. Old radios I've cataloged around 1,845. That's crazy. Larry says, I got free records and a 45 adapter from this channel. I avoid the player giveaways to let others get one. That's really nice of you, Larry. So glad that you enjoy that stuff. Must be the RCA wall behind you. I know. And I wanted different brands. There's an Edison thing down here. And I've got a couple other things coming, but most of the retro reprint tin signs that are available on Amazon are RCA Victors. So I was like, okay, well, that's as good as any. Just trying to, it's just a plain wall. So, I would like, ideally, if I had room for it, to put like a bookshelf back there, and the bookshelf would have like I love the backdrop to Technology Connections. I think that's the channel name. Technology Connections, really cool channel. And in the background, he's got these cubbies, and there's lights in all of them. They're all lit up with kind of, things. That's a cool looking background. I like that. I would like for the background to be like a low key, dark, look. And that would be a better look than this glaring bright white wall. So I'm trying to find a compromise with some stuff on the wall besides just my fat head. But yeah, there you go. Thank you, by the way. Yeah, it's been fun. Some of them weren't that bad. I mean, most of them, I think this I'm using my mouse, like you can see what I'm talking. This Victrola one, this Victor one here, I think it was like $12. They were anywhere from like 12 to 15. I think I didn't pay more than 18 for any of them. And they're all brand new signs, which is fun. It's really cool. Larry, Mrs. Record-ology is a babe. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Way out of my league. I don't know how I lucked out, but I am very thankful. Michelle says, Steepletown Camden sends and receives Bluetooth. Oh, that's cool. And that's a feature that's really becoming more and more popular. Frisco Gaming, hello, welcome in. Larry says the audio is fine, so I'm glad for that. Old radios, instead, they named the movie the most 90s phrase ever. RCA had a Camden record label. Absolutely. The Camden record label, those are good things. And the pressings are just as high quality as Victor. So those are good. The Camden ones are neat. And if you go to, if you want to, you get bored sometime, you go to Camden, New Jersey, and on like Google Earth, you can look up the current location of the old Camden, New Jersey RCA pressing plant. And it's like, I think it's like an apartment complex or something now. I think it's called the Victor or something, but they've got little Easter eggs of things, hearkening back to when it was the RCA pressing plant. And obviously Camden Record name comes from, or Camden Records name comes from Camden, New Jersey, where RCA was pressing the records. I'm looking to add a suitcase player just to have one. If you've got a little bit of budget, like $200, go with the who was it saying this? Was it Larry? Somebody was saying about the Revolution Go from Victrola. Best suitcase type portable ever. Moving magnet cartridge, amazing speaker system. HMV is Master's Voice dog label. Absolutely. Our friends overseas would recognize HMV. I have a few HMV records. They're so premium looking. They're beautiful. I love them. Michelle says, my dream turntable at the moment is the LP3. Yes, the new Bluetooth model. Yes, Audio Technica. Let's review that. That would be good if you're watching. I know you're not watching. If you're watching, you should send that to us so we can review it. I love the LP3. I love it. Horror of horrors, you guys. Nobody's heard this on the channel yet. I sold my LP3. I did. I sold it. You may be like, Record-ology, that was your favorite record player for years. I was gushing about the LP3, absolutely gushing of how much. I know everybody's like in shock. I love the reaction things. So you can react with emojis now. That's cool. That's really cool. When you do that, it's cool because it kind of feels like we're connected. Yeah, I sold the LP3. Why did you sell the LP3? I sold it because I needed to downsize. When we were moving, I had to make some difficult decisions. And I haven't fully disclosed how drastic some of those decisions were. More to come on that. Things that you maybe used to seeing on the channel, you won't be seeing, but that should pave the room for new content. Okay. Trust me, we still got, wall to wall record players in this place. Way too many for a normal human being, but just right for an interesting YouTube channel, I hope. And I've tried to use a couple of them already on the channel since we've moved. But the LP3 is no longer my absolute favorite record player. It has been eclipsed with currently my favorite record players that I have are these. Okay, there's 4 of them. The Technics SLB5 fully automatic, belt driven. And I don't have that's the one I don't of the 4 that I don't have set up right now. I love that thing. And it has everything I want, everything about the LP3 in terms of the adjustable counterbalance, the removable head shell, the ability to be fully automatic. And then it adds on the ability to be a changer. And that's just a wonderful, wonderful thing. And it adds the ability to have the strobe and the pitch control, which I realized was the one downfall with the LP3 is that it didn't have a speed control. So, well, it did have a speed control, but it was a set it and leave it kind of speed control underneath the unit with a screwdriver. It wasn't the kind of speed control. It wasn't like a pitch slider. So if your record, needed an adjustment for one reason or another, you could not make that adjustment with a pitch slider, and you couldn't verify your speed without putting on a strobe disc. So it was missing that one feature. And so, if the speed was a little bit off, it would drive me absolutely batty because I have learned, and you'll see on all the record players that I, listen to on the daily, that's a common feature. And that's one thing the LP3 didn't have. That being said, it's gorgeous. The white one that I ended up with, it was an RMA. My original one was a black one, but I somehow blew out the preamp on it. And the RMA was covered under warranty, thankfully. And the RMA unit they sent me was white. It was new, but it was white. It wasn't the black one because at the time the black one was out of stock. There was a while they were about to roll those off. And I think it's because of you guys and all the chit chat and chatter that we've had on here about the LP3 that has made that something that they hold on to. Of course, they'll never tell me that, but I think that people kind of resurrected their interest in that LP3 turntable, and it is a fantastic turntable. So I've got the SLB5, the PLX 500 from Pioneer, which is fully manual, but again, it's just a great, and it has the old platter, the platter, the white acrylic platter I used to put on the LP3 is on there now, and it looks really good on there. I think it matches the white finish. Fantastic, fully manual turntable, direct drive, and the SLB5, by the way, is belt drive. And down here, I've got the SLDL1 that was gifted to me by one of you guys, and it is a linear tracking direct drive Technics where the platter is the motor, and you take off the platter and you see the motor. I mean, the platter is the motor. So that's really, really cool. Linear tracker. And I listen to that probably the most right now, just because it's at my right hand as I'm working. And then in the rack back there is the SLBD22. So all 4 of those have pitch control, strobe, indentations on the platter, and kind of a combination of semi-automatic, manual, and fully automatic. Those are the top 4 right now, but it evolves, it changes, and that's what's fun too. Going through the phases of enjoying each is a good thing. Now, the new, what Michelle was talking about, the new version of the LP3 now will stream out Bluetooth, which has become quite a feature that people want. They want no cords connecting their speakers, but with some of the newer Bluetooth codecs that can be done losslessly, maintaining the analog integrity, which is really cool. So there you go. Okay. Frisco Gaming, welcome in. Yeah, the LP3. That thing is so cool. White LP3. It looks great. Of course, the black one would look cool, like a black acrylic mat. That would look pretty badass too. Let me get caught up on comments. Does he ever do that? Got some British LPs, some big band jazz. That's awesome. I have a few too. Obviously, I've got some Status Quo, and I've got some other things that are British. I do prefer fully or semi-automatic, says Michelle. Me as well. Those phone record devices, yeah. The record shop I went to has turntables for trying records out. That's cool when they do that. That is cool. Usually they're like some old LP 120s that are pretty well beat up. That's really cool when they have that. Some old school shoebox tape recorders came with some interesting accessories. Yeah, like microphones and things. My favorite shoebox is my 1968 Sears tape cartridge recorder is what it calls itself. It doesn't say cassette anywhere on it. Gary says, I'm just old. No way, dude. You're young at heart. Absolutely. Maybe physically young as well. I don't know, but no, don't say you're old. You're not old. Larry says, my record shop had individual listening booths to hear records. That's cool. Old Radio says, I used to listen to classic rock and pop in high school. Movie Spud says, I was and am a huge blues fan and really was in college. I have lots of CD. Also love Louis Prima. Oh, Louis Prima is great. Louis Prima. What was that female singer that sang with him a lot? Keely Smith, I think. That's good stuff. Timothy Weirs, welcome in. I had to stop using MT consoles or my console stereo for a while. It needs to be repaired. I am now using my grandfather's old all-in-one unit, so I found a mixtape I made in the mid to late 90s. That's cool. I think it has direct drive cassette player. It still plays directly from the early 70s. That's really cool. Sister is in. Sister says, I'm handsome. Well, thank you very much. Old Radio says the 2003 Power Mac G5 has Bluetooth. Really? Wait, 2003 Power Mac. That must be like Bluetooth 2.0 or something. Because that remember Bluetooth was like Jawbone. Remember Jabra? Was it Jabra? Like devices to listen to phone calls and things. And the sound quality was infamously bad. In fact, I remember them talking about, oh, you can't have music over Bluetooth. That's not quality enough. Old Radio says, I heard the MPK one is great for a suitcase. Oh, yeah, that's a great suitcase player, the MPK. I don't know if they sell it anymore. I've heard rumors that they've disappeared off of Amazon or that it's rebranded as something else. But if you can find one, that is great. Movie Spud says, have you got your thoughts? Have you got or thought of getting any of the Victor record players? Yes. So the Victor, that's weird because there's like this whole Victrola thing with a completely separate from the innovative technology thing. And they're not connected. So that's kind of weird, but they've got like green flocked platter mats on top and make them look vintage. They've got some cool stuff. I've reached out to them and I may snag something because their stuff is really cool. Timothy says he lives in Camden County, New Jersey. My roommate's mom used to work at a plastics company, which is now a brewery. That's interesting. Yeah, that's right. The MPK had no handle. It's like, hello, we forgot a part. Yeah, they did, Timothy. We were just talking about that about 20 minutes ago. About that, exactly. Movie Spud, the audio box, 1955 Bel Air Bluetooth speaker is so cool looking and awesome. Possibly my favorite Bluetooth speaker. I gotta look this up. My favorite has got to be, just a pure design standpoint, like it just looks cool, has got to be the Crosley Diner jukebox one. That thing is just amazing. Oh, this is cool. It looks literally like a Chevy Bel Air. Okay, it's got a USB in the side. That's awesome. $34. That is cool. Okay, you're right. That's right up there then, because that looks really neat. It comes in different colors. What? The headlights light up. Okay, that is really cool. Ooh, and black too. Oh, and the back windshield is the screen. Oh, that's cool. Don't tell me the tailpipes are headphone jacks. That would be cool. This is really neat. You guys tell me about the coolest stuff. I'd have to get it in blue. That is cool. Thanks for the tip. I can't wait for you to get one of the new sound burgers. Yeah, me too, Michelle. I don't know if it'll happen. They're already sold out of the new ones too. Larry says, I'm lazy. I like fully automatic turntables. Me too. I do have a Crosley player based on the Soundburger, and I'm just remembering that you guys told me the batteries were starting to leak battery acid in it, and you guys were like, clean that out, and I forgot to. It's probably even worse now. But yeah, I do have that because it's unique, and I try to keep the more unique things. And if you're playing a 12-inch disc or playing a smaller disc on a 12-inch disc, the wow and flutter isn't noticeable. But the platter is so cheap plastic, the little plastic platter it has, that if you just try to play like a 7-inch record on it, it's the wow and flutter is insane. It's terrible. So you have to weight it down. You have to use kind of a bigger record as a stabilizer. But on a 12-inch record, no problem at all. It's got a magnetic cartridge and everything. It's not half bad. It broadcasts not Bluetooth, but it broadcasts FM, which is interesting. Bluetooth is actually FM. Did you know that? Bluetooth is digital binary data broadcast over FM. That's what that is. But obviously just FM analog broadcast is what this one does. So you could tune in on FM radio and pick it up. Definitely want to do more shows on that. But thank you, Michelle, for wishing that we could find one. I would love that too. What do you think of the band The Association? I probably know more of their songs than I know I do off the top of my head. Don't have an opinion. Gary Keep It Simple says, the phone recorders work by magnetic coupling to the earphone. That's amazing. Yeah, Larry, Keely Smith and Louis Prima. I had it right. Okay, cool. Louis Prima wrote Sing, Sing, Sing for Benny Goodman. It's true. He did. But I love his stuff. My favorite Louis Prima music has got to be the Jungle Book music. Oh, I love that stuff. You, I want to sing like you, Scooby-Doo. It's good stuff. I want to walk like you, talk like you. That's good stuff. My favorite album from them is Birthday from 1968. I've got to check it out. Thanks for the tip. Kyle, welcome in. Great sound too, and makes vroom sound when you turn. Oh, if it vrooms, then I have to get it. Your jukebox speaker was on kitchen counter in Denver. Oh, so that's another one. That is a Bluetooth speaker too. Yeah, we've still got that on the kitchen counter down there. And but what I was actually talking about was the 50s diner. It looks like the little Select-O-Matic ones. It's hard to describe, but it's really cool, and it's small. It doesn't really sound particularly good. It's got an FM scan radio built in. That's the coolest looking one. They had a proof of concept of that at Crosley's booth, and I'm like, I want one of those. Can I have one of those? Like, well, he's like, it doesn't exist yet. That's the problem with going to CES. Half the stuff they have on the shelf isn't even real. I remember Victrola had all these really cool retro kind of like, they look like vintage cars, like Studebaker cars, but they were CD players. And I'm like, ooh, these are awesome. And you pull it down off the shelf. I was like, wait a minute, this is fake. It wasn't even real. It's hollow. They're just proof of concept. They get an idea of how much interest, and then they put it into production if there's enough interest. Because what's happening at CES is a lot of manufacturers are meeting with resellers, because that's where Walmart goes and shops for product to put on their shelves, and Target and the Walmart are negotiating exclusive rights of stuff and who's going to sell what. And those big vendors like Crosley's booth has a full-blown conference room in the middle of it, which I got to go in there, and not for a meeting, just to geek out and see all this proof of concept stuff that was so proof of concept. It wasn't even on the floor. It was on like in the back room kind of stuff. And they will sit down there with somebody like Walmart and say, okay, let's talk about an exclusive deal for the new year and what products and, blah, 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 blah. And they wheel and deal. And then Crosley's suppliers, the people making this stuff, would be out at CES too. So there would be meetings between those guys. So it was a way to sort of expedite all of these and avoid a lot of international travel and condense it into one event. So fun stuff. But anyway, Studebaker, I think it was Studebaker or Jensen, which is the same parent company now. They have the retro looking CD players now. They actually did make them, and they are cool. They are really, really cool. Jaden's VHS Archive 3.0. Welcome in. Yeah, that Soundburger is so cool. I want a real one. I want a real one. Do you have any laser discs? No, I had. Do I have a laser disc? I do have one laser disc. What did I do with that thing? And I purely bought it knowing I didn't need it. Or would I ever really listen to it? Where is that thing? I got it as a collector's item. Where did I put my laser disc? It's to one of my favorite movies, Grumpy Old Men. The one with, it's got Sophia Loren, Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau, and Margaret. Was in all the Elvis movies. And Margaret. Okay. Came to me finally. Great movie. Thank you. Anyway, I bought that because I just love that movie, and I'm not probably ever going to play it. I think it's got a scratch on it anyway. Just got it as a novelty. I remember when that movie came to video, and I saw the Laserdisc, and Laserdiscs were super bougie back then, expensive, and I thought to myself that would be something to be able to afford that. And so I found it for like $1 in a record bin. You know how it is, stupid hair. And I bought it on purpose for knowing it was a Laserdisc. When did I buy that? I think I bought that right before we moved. The only other Laserdisc I ever bought was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and I bought it thinking it was a vinyl record. And I have this bad habit. You were talking about record shops having like a place to listen and preview your vinyl before you buy it. I'm so bad about. You'd think after doing this for years that I would be more disciplined, but I'm so undisciplined that I will buy records without even pulling the record out of the sleeve most of the time. So I've been burned with the wrong record in the wrong sleeve many times. I've been burned with ruined records. I just get excited. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Now, granted, most of the time the records I'm picking up are $1, $2, $3, less than 10. And so it's not a huge deal. But at the same time, if I was disciplined enough, I would slow down and avoid situations like that. However, when I got home and realized that the really cool looking record of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was really a new old stock laser disc of it, I was able to gift it to a friend who does collect and watch laser discs, so it all worked out in the end. It's good to have friends that collect certain things, and then when you get duplicates, for whatever reason, you can send off the duplicates or things that you don't collect or whatnot. But I think it's important too, just to not collect stuff for the point of collecting. And I've gone down this rabbit hole before, but you see these 8 tracks back here. I have some more over here. I downsized about half my 8 tracks, with just things I didn't want. And I was like, I'm never going to listen to this. I was appreciative of having them, finding them at one point, perhaps thought I would like to check it out, but I was really trying to downsize. I also got rid of about half of my 78s. You may be like shock and horror, but a lot of them were music that I just wouldn't listen to on a 78. I kept a lot of 78s. I do have a lot. I have plenty, more than I need, but at the same time, they are wonderful ones that I really like. The ones I didn't care for, just I let them go. I give them to somebody who would appreciate them. So not holding on to stuff just to hold on to stuff. I don't want to be a hoarder. You know what I mean? Yes, diner music menu box at each table. There is a restaurant in Colorado called Around the Corner, and they used to have those, and they would actually work at the tables. Gunther Tooties did at one point as well, another restaurant, and I think they're really cool. This is miniaturized. It's like, it's like maybe 7-8 inches. That's cool, Kyle. Really cool. Oh, nice. Roman Record Players is in the house. Roman DJMA. I found some interesting background music records from the mid 50s, sort of like Seberg, but more similar to a 12-inch pressed in marbled red. That is so cool. I picked up some transcription discs in Loveland a couple years ago. They were like 10-inch radio promos from the 60s. There's like flipper ads and things in there, interviews with different celebrities for upcoming movies and things. And what blew me away is, like you said, they're like in marbled or colored vinyl. And it's like, why take the time to press something that the public is never going to see in a cool looking vinyl? Were they saving carbon? Were they just using scrap vinyl? I don't know why they would press that stuff in color, but some gorgeous, like clear vinyl records and things. It's just like, why would you do that? Now, I know a record is clear until the carbon black is added. So maybe they're saving the carbon black. I don't know. Some YouTubers use Laserdisc on turntable test anti-skate. Yeah, if you don't have a blank record or you don't have one of these guys. Although I would actually recommend probably a Laserdisc over what I did, which is I tried that once. I think I did a show on it. And I used the acrylic platter mat. Sounds like a great idea. The problem is acrylic is a lot softer than polycarbonate, which is what a CD or a Laserdisc is made out of. So the polycarbonate wouldn't scratch up. This carved a groove in it. So you can run your finger over it. You can feel it's not perfectly smooth. So that was a bummer. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize that the acrylic was that soft. So yeah, I would recommend probably not doing the way I did it. Definitely not an expert. And that's something people just can't fathom. They get on here and start arguing with me like I'm trying to prove a point. Like, I'm just experimenting. I'm just learning as we go. Learning right along with you. I'm learning from you guys. Yeah, that would have been a good idea, Michelle. I should have got it for that. Grumpy Old Man, says Jaden's. That's a great movie, too. I love both of them. Larry. I've never... when I first saw Grumpy Old Man, it had me laughing. Now it's just a feel-good movie. I just love both of those. They're just total feel-good movies. You can also use a blank side of a strobe disc to test anti-skate and those rare one-sided records. Yeah, that would be a good choice. Movie Spud has Laserdisc of The Third Man from Criterion. Wow, that must have been expensive. That's crazy. Yeah, Third Man. Those kinds of movies are the kind back in film school that we studied. Have you ever found your CDs at your local library? Have you ever found CDs at your local library? Yeah, back in Colorado, up until about 2015 or so, they had CDs, and then they got rid of them all. I wish I would have known how or where they did that, but they got rid of all of that stuff and went to a purely online service called Hoopla, which is cool. It's like a streaming thing where you could. First, they went to this really weird one where you could download like 15 tracks a week, and they were actual files that you would download, just MP3s. And then they went to this thing that they still use called Hoopla, where they have some ebooks and they have digital music on there. By that time, I was getting back into physical media and for streaming, just using Apple Music. But yeah, I do remember a time. Absolutely. I remember tapes at the library. Now, if your library is connected to the kind of back order prospector system, a lot of public libraries are connected to Prospector. Basically, it's like an interlibrary loan system where different library systems can trade stuff. And so if you're in an area that has that, like I think the Prospector system in Colorado was just Colorado, but you would get stuff from all over the state, and there were some really good libraries on there. And you could check out records. It was really cool. I reviewed a lot of records early days on this channel that were rented at the library. Via Westlife got to use turntable with a broken tone arm. Yeah, Larry. So that was the, what was that thing? Oh, shoot. I just was talking about it too. Anyway, we reviewed that. We reviewed that back this last Christmas. Ours didn't rotate because the piece wasn't broken off, but I love the way you modified that to play transcription discs. I still have my 16-inch transcription AFRS discs. World War II, very end of World War II. And I have to figure out. I almost had the LP7 modified to play them. The LP7, kind of like via Westlife, how he was able to kind of dip the tip of the record down in underneath the spindle. I had modified it slightly enough not to damage it, and it just was 1 millimeter too short. It was just barely too short to play them, and then the tone arm wouldn't track all the way across. So it got me thinking about that again. But that was a good setup. The one we bought was like $84 for the whole thing. It was half price at Guitar Center, and it came with decent speakers. And I know it had been branded as Altic Lansing as well. I forget the brand of the one that he and I reviewed. But yeah, it's very plasticky, very, very cheap plasticky. But it sounds surprisingly good. It's probably the best ceramic cartridge all-in-one system that we'd ever reviewed. Old Radio says, look at the cover for the LTD album, Devition. It's a really cool cover. Okay, I'll check it out. Matthew and Lemon were great together. Yeah, they did so many things. The Odd Couple. I love that stuff. Roman says, you've got any interesting radios? I've got a portable radio from 1941-42 that uses a rechargeable 2-volt. By the way, dude, I've been watching your TikToks religiously. Some amazing stuff on there. For radios, what do I have? I do have some interesting radios. I can't think of what any of them are. They're all in a storage room right now. Do I have any interesting radios out right now? I talked about my 1951 Philco. It's obviously, 100% valves, tubes, and it's I think it's AM only, but it's got a beautiful glass backlit dial and a beautiful wood veneer. It's got the record player in there. But as far as purely radios go, I've got some interesting pieces as well. I had a really cool one. I think I eventually gave it away or donated it, but we had it on the show before. It was a Kmart branded radio, and which I thought was so, so cool. At the time, I was really into collecting. Everybody collects like Seberg records or, Muzak records. We all have some of that stuff. But I started finding out that the tape reels, they used to be on reel-to-reel tapes, of the 1970s Kmart background music were all available on archive.org and on YouTube. And so I was making some dupes for my own use. And I thought it'd be really cool to have, you could broadcast it with like a little broadcast, FM broadcaster or something over a Kmart radio, Kmart music on a Kmart radio. And it had the Kmart branding on there. It came with like a padded case that was built into it and stuff. I need to feature more of that stuff, dude. But I've been enjoying your content a lot. Absolutely a lot. Via Westlife figured out how to play transcription disc. Yep, we were just the Gemini. That's what it was. TT900. Yeah, surprisingly good for $48. That's a good beginner system for somebody. It's not bad. Movie Spud says, sadly, I haven't been to our library since they built the new one after the 2011 tornado. Interesting. Where are you at? What part of town or what part of the country? Books on tape was a thing. Oh, yeah. They had a whole section of that. Ty Rocky says, I use Hoopla all the time. The CDs I found were CDs that someone donated, and I was able to buy them. That's so cool. I used to love the little library stores. They had like a dedicated room where you could go in and buy decommissioned books and things. One time, my dad and I went in together on a stack of Mad magazines this tall. Mom wasn't that impressed, crude humor of Mad magazine, but Dad and I liked them. Dad and I loved to read that stuff. There's certain things that you enjoy with certain people. I remember I was saying with our son that I listen to a lot of hip hop and rap with him. But then with, my dad, I enjoy different things. We'll listen to a lot of, Dick Dale, surfer guitar stuff. And my wife and I will listen to, Broadway or some classical opera, whatever, musicals and things. It just depends, what kind of, music or experiences you have with different family members and friends. And that's part of the fun of it is the reliving those experiences helps you remember those happy times. And that's one reason why I love this stuff. But yeah, the Mad magazines we bought there. And my dad used to tell me about the little cartoons written in the borders and the corners of the pages and all of that stuff. The Spy versus Spy comics. By the way, this will help age me. My first video game system was an NES, and I had Spy versus Spy for NES. It was cool. It's a cool thing. I don't know if that's available on the nowadays. I'm thankful to have the Nintendo Online thing for the Switch. I have a Switch Lite. I got it for my birthday last year, which is a huge surprise. And it's like a subscription. It's like $2.50 a month, and you can play old NES and SNES games. And if you pay more, you can play N64 and Genesis games too. It's really cool. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you watching my videos, man. It's like a celebrity in the house. That's cool that you're here. Old radio's got a Pioneer Radio 8-track player from 1975. It's a little cheaper than what I was expecting for 70s Pioneer. Interesting. Movie Spuds in Joplin. Okay. Yeah, guys, go sub to Roman, especially on TikTok. He's like uploading content 24 hours a day. So much stuff, and it's so interesting. And he demonstrates how to fix stuff. It's really cool. So go check him out. Weird Spins. I did a video on all of the Mad Magazine records. Oh, I haven't come across one of those. I did come across Archie Comics record just this past couple of weeks. Weird Spins grew up on Mad magazines and Cracked. Yes, Cracked. I think there was a few Cracked magazines in there. My video game console from back in the day was the Atari 2600. So here's a funny thing. My best friend had a 2600, and my grandfather, isn't that weird? My grandfather, before, this would be like 1984, 1985. I think we got our NES late. We got our NES when everybody else was getting an SNES. But I think I got the NES in like 90 or 91, maybe 90. I'm not sure. But before that, like mid 80s, maybe late 80s, I remember going over to my grandma and grandpa's house, and my grandpa had a 2600, and they kept it in a tub in the closet and would disconnect it and all the wires and everything, and neatly put it in the tub in the closet when it wasn't in use. And I remember playing that one and the one at my friend's house and being blown away by the labels on the cartridges, and then putting them in and being like, this thing looks lame. It has 4 pixels. Even back then, I was like, this is pretty rough because it doesn't look like that label. The box or the label to the cartridge looks so amazing. But great memories playing some of those games. Some of my favorites from the Atari days are the downhill skiing one. Also incredible memories, and probably my all-time favorite Atari game has to be, mind blank again. It's like cops and robbers, Keystone Capers. I love that game. That was amazing. I don't know why that was so magical. I go back and I'll do this sometimes, where I'll go back and I'll remember something as being just so incredible. And then I'll go back and be like, really? This is what I was excited about? This was capturing my attention? If you YouTube these games now and you watch them, you're like, wow, yes, I did play Pong. Even then, though, I didn't think it was that great. Roman says, my dad gave me his 1976 Mad Magazine compilation issue. Great stuff in there. My favorite makes fun of doctors' handwriting being so impossible to read. That's hilarious. That's cool. The Fisher tape deck was made in March 1978 and has Dolby. Very cool. Rice Cooker says, I've been stuck too deep in the Beatles. Got every important studio album. It's hard to get into a new band. I know that feeling. I know when you're so into something, and I just like run out of music, and it's like, I want there to be more, like Patsy Cline stuff. I want there to be more, but she only had such a short career before she passed away, and there's only a handful of albums. You know what I mean? There's like 207 songs that was recorded, period, and whatever live stuff. And then you hope and pray some new stuff will be discovered. But it's like, I want there to be more, but there just isn't. I can't do the reenactors. Can't do it. And that's part of the reason why I can't watch the movie Sweet Dreams. Is it Sweet Dreams? The movie with Jessica Lange. I think somebody told me how to say it. Lange. The idea of just impersonator. I don't know. Sometimes I can do impersonators. One time we went to Branson, Missouri, and we went and saw this show. It was a Red Skelton show by this guy named Tom Mollica, who's no longer with us. And Tom Mullica actually was fairly well known. He'd been on the Tonight Show and stuff. He did some gag where he was smoking 100 cigarettes at once or something. Not something you would see in this day and age. But he happened to know Red Skelton, the comedian, and had developed a one-man show. Now, obviously, I'm never going to get a chance to see Red Skelton, and now I'm not going to get another chance to see Tom Mullica. So I talked my wife into, let's go see the Tom Mullica show, the Red Skelton show. She's like, it's not Red Skelton, it's an impersonator. And they have all these. You would never step foot in one of these, like Elvis and Michael Jackson and the Beatles all take the stage at once, reincarnation shows. I, on the other hand, I'm like, it's the next best thing. Let's do it. But I talked her into going to this one. And it was incredible. If you've ever watched old Red Skelton television shows or listened to old Red Skelton radio shows, it was like being there. It was the voice, the persona. It was a one-man show that was like, it was so amazing. Sound effects, the music, absolutely one of the best things we've ever done. And I have no idea how I went down that, but yeah, there you go. I don't know why I was talking about that. Computer Space was my first computer game, 1970s. You know what? You guys can help me. I was trying to remember, and I've Googled everything I can think of, cannot remember the name of it. There was a computer game that this would have been 94, 95-ish. And I'm pretty sure it was an MS-DOS game. And it was like a little space cadet guy. And he was kind of a side scroller. So kind of like a Mario game where he would jump. He shot a blaster, very rudimentary, used like the 16-bit sound card. What was the name of that game? I cannot think of the name of that game. If any of you remember, please let me know in the comments. Roman says, and thank you again. Consider you. I'm not a celebrity. No, dude. You are the celebrity. This is fun. I don't have fans. I just have friends. But that's an honor to hear you say that, my friend. That's amazing. It's just fun to hang out with people that like the same stuff. Old radios. I had a date of 53-3-22. 53 meaning 1978. It's Japanese. Okay. I'm not good at dating stuff like that. Michelle, I have to go now. Need to sleep. Michelle, good night. Thank you for being here. Movie Spud says, I probably have all or almost all of B.B. King. Saw me a year before he passed. That's amazing. One time, there used a radio station in Denver called Cool in 05, and they used to play 50s and 60s rock. And my dad and I went to what ended up being the concert of the century. We saw Chuck Berry, The Temptations, the real acts. Two of the four original Mamas and Papas. We saw Johnny Rivers, Secret Agent Man, and stuff like that. There was there's probably 15 A-list celebrities, and it was incredible. We were like 23rd row. It was at Mile High Stadium. This would have been like before they tore it down. This would have been like 96, 95-ish, maybe 94. And concert of the century. They never did it like that. It was a cool concert. And this particular year, they got the best of the best together. But yeah, hearing Johnny B. Good live with, standing 30 feet from the man himself, it's incredible. It's fun to sit back and think about actual famous people that you've been able to see. At least I think that's fun. My wife is completely unfazed by that. But she's an actor herself, so it's hard to upstage that. It's like, what do? You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's cool. I geek out over it. Rebel 9668 says, my oldest radio is a 1928 Radiola 60. My oldest model with FM is a Plaxton Feta 790. But the only one I have with the turntable is a Philco 48 1262 console. Really cool. Hal Holbrook did Mark Twain very well. That's good to know. I think I've heard that. I think I've heard of him. Old Radio says his oldest radios are 1929. Weird Spin says there's a video out I'd recommend because I know that you'd like vintage comic stuff. Gabe Kaplan did one man show of Groucho, and I think it was in the 80s. Oh, that's cool. To check that out. Hal, yeah, I decoded it in real time, Larry. I don't know how I did. Old Radio says a Radiola 62 Twilight Zone model would be awesome. Gabe Kaplan. Okay. Alfonso, hello from Colorado. I came across a pack of blank Record-ology discs at the Arc. Do you know I've been in Colorado for over 40 years, never had that kind of luck. What the heck, man? As soon as I leave, we just moved to Florida, the real good stuff starts showing up. That's incredible, dude. Do you have a machine to record music onto vinyl so I can send you the discs? I wish I did. That's so nice of you. No, I don't. My friend Fardamark has an engraving record cutter lathe. If you look at Fardamark on YouTube, he has one. So he may be one to contact there. He's embossed some records for us. Rebel says, my oldest radio is a 1928 Radiola 5970 console. Kyle says, I've seen the Turtles. Yes, I saw the Turtles as well. That was fun. I saw them Fiddler's Green probably 7-8 years ago. They were part of a multi-band show. Oldest FM I have is a Fried Eisman 46. That's incredible. Weird Spins, I have both of the following Heldenberg albums. Was incredible. I found many blank acetate records. Why don't I ever find these things? Although rather than blank, I'd rather find some records that have been recorded onto. I found they were actually like transcription discs at a thrift store the other day. It was like a private thrift store I found. But it was a transcription disc, but it was just classical music. And I love classical music, by the way. I don't mean to say I don't. But I would much rather find like old time radio or the news or something that you could date or kind of find more information in. Because there was a lot of people that made home recordings and stuff too, which isn't quite as good as an actual transcription disc. And that's what I've heard old radios is that the cutting heads need to be restored. West Tech Services, yes. Expensive, I think, to do that, isn't it? You should do StreamYard so you can bring people. I've thought about it. Gary's out. Thank you, Gary. And I'm going to be out too, guys. I'm going to have to say goodnight. I got to rest. I still have the shoulder is still acting up. Like the back overall is healed, but it's kind of down to this one side. It's still pretty uncomfortable to sleep, so I've been sleeping the best. Haven't used my cassette deck in a while. It's hard to find a good cassette. It'll sound clean on my system. I have a greeting card disc, says Timothy. It was sent across the country to my grandma. That's cool. Yeah, Gary's channel, guys. Check out Gary Keep It Simple on YouTube. Fantastic YouTube channel. Excited to get the Steelman recorder in June, Old Radio says. All right, guys, that is incredible. One more time. In the comments, I am going to paste my wife's new channel, Rain's Place. Check it out if you wouldn't mind. I would really appreciate that. Go over there and subscribe. All kinds of videos about wildlife. And we've already seen gators, all kinds of crazy birds and things, dolphins. You'll see it all over at Rain's Place. So go on over there and hit subscribe for me, please. Also, to remind you that the vinyl, or not Vinyl Nation, it's called Inner Circle, Record-ology Inner Circle membership program is available. Link down below. Also, the 45 adapters. Grab yours if you haven't done it already. Don't know how long that Guava one's going to be around. But as Rice Cooker says, happy record hunting, my friends. We We'll see you next time. God bless everybody. Have a great night, great day. See you next time.